spent the last 20 years analyzing the global restaurant business from the inside out. I've studied the consumer habits and actions that feed this business every day. Innovation is found in places where few might look. It's where the real heartbeat of the restaurant business lies. Sometimes it's beneath the known Michelin stars or the glitz and the glamour of the posh addresses of the best restaurant districts in the business. I'm Paul Barron, and this is my show. And I'm in search of amazing food, stellar service, and that unforgettable experience. Welcome to Table 42.
Chef, so welcome. First of all, thanks for letting us come in your kitchen here.
Thanks for coming.
This has been kind of a fun environment walking through the restaurant itself. We're going to get a chance to check out that in a minute, but before we get started, tell us a little bit about what Swine is in general. You guys have some very different takes on Southern food.
Well, Swine is mainly, predominantly all about the hog. All about the preparation of whole hog and trying to use as much of the animal as you can. Our cuisine is based in kind of Southern tradition, and traditionally in Southern cooking, the hog is predominant, but not so much, in what we think of as ribs and pork chops and things like
right.
that. It's more used as a seasoning ingredient for things like vegetables and whatnot.
Tell us a little bit about kind of your background, where you came from, your track through the culinary.
I was born and raised in Virginia, Northern Virginia, but grew up around a lot of Southern cooking. Probably got into restaurants when I was about 15 years old, kind of something to do to keep me out of trouble. And then, grew to really love it, grew to love the creative aspect that you can have in a kitchen. So probably around my mid-20s, I moved down to Richmond, started cooking in, what I would call, the better joints. Around some good chefs, and actually got the opportunity to go work for Norman Van Aken out in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So I jumped on that. Wanted to see the fine dining aspect of cuisine, and I really got my experience out there. Then later on, moved with him up to Miami to open up a restaurant that actually used to be right around the corner here in Coral Gables. Yeah. So this restaurant's kind of like a little bit of a homecoming to me.
So you've got some great tricks up your sleeve, obviously.
Got a couple.
And of course, what we're going to look at today, you guys are really stretching the menu out across a lot of sides, a lot of different ways to prepare some of these smoked meats.
Yeah.
When you look at a restaurant like this for Swine, the size of it, for an operator that's trying to maybe build something like this, a concept, how much protein can you put out in a smoke of this size?
Oh, we easily go through about 200 pounds of brisket a day.
Oh, wow.
About 80 to 100 pounds of ribs a day, and about another 80 to 100 pounds of pork shoulder a day.
Interesting.
Especially on a busy day. So that thing is crammed full all day long.
Well, we're going to check out what's going to come out of this smoker back here in the belly of Swine.
Take a look. There's an appetizer that I grew to love while growing up in restaurants in Virginia, where we would pair Virginia smoked sausage with a salad of black-eyed peas, a little bit of cherry tomatoes, basil, olive oil, balsamic. Very simple salad, but the flavors really kind of take my mind back to those days in Virginia, being a line cook and things like that. So we're going to kind of do a rendition of that.
Beautiful.
Right?
Let's take a look.
Cool.
This is one of those dishes I think people might, fight over the table.
Exactly. That's why we put 3 pieces on there.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Chef, when we get into a little hardier side of your menu now with pork loin, so talk to me a little bit about how you guys are putting this menu item together.
What we've done is we've taken a pork loin and we've brined it in apple cider for 48 hours.
Oh, nice.
And then we're kissing it on our wood burning grill. So the apple cider kind of gives it that sweet kind of characteristic that you would get in kind of like a glazed ham. To pair it with, we have a black barley pudding. There's also going to be a little salad of some fresh kale, some roasted D'Angelo pears, and a little bit of honey infused with sage as well.
It's a great dish.
Finished
Nice
dish
job.
right there.
Yeah, love it, Chef. All right, so John, here we are in the front of Swine Southern Table. You guys are all about the hog here.
We are definitely all about
You
that.
put it on-
With a name like Swine,
Yeah.
we have to be, right?
So what was the idea behind really bringing that to a menu format?
Well, during the creative process for Yardbird, most of, we start with kind of our mood boards all around the office.
Right.
And most of them look like what you see here now.
Yeah.
And it really, we were just talking about, as we start to do a menu, there are great ideas on the menu that end up spinning off into their own brand and their own concept that, we learned a lesson a long time ago not to try to be everything to everybody.
Right.
And so Swine really was part of the process for Yardbird. It really just became its own spin-off brand for a lot of different reasons. Not only the interior and the focus on pork and a slight trend to the unhealthy that wouldn't fit the beach, but because we wanted to have this massive smoker, which has been a focal point of this concept.
Yeah.
And we really started the development down there. Chef Phil did an amazing job of kind of starting with that piece and building from that. So there's a little bit of smoke and everything, there's a little bit of pork and everything, but strangely enough, we have more vegetarian items on this menu than we have at all our other restaurants.
Which is crazy.
Which is a great balance, right? You have heavy pork and vegetarian,
Yeah.
so there's something for everybody.
Yeah. Wow, now this is well done. I mean,
Oh,
it's
thanks.
the beauty of what you've taken this rustic lodge feel and really kind of spun it up into a modern, eclectic restaurant. I mean, was that kind of the intent all along?
It was definitely an intent to keep an elevated feel to the South. Our challenge was with a lot of smokehouses, our barbecue and blues joints, is
Yeah.
it can feel kind of really junky really fast.
Yeah.
And so, we had to kind of work hard at doing that. We literally had to build the walls, the roof, everything over again because it was ready to fall down on itself.
Oh, wow.
So in that process, we really had the opportunity to do things that we wouldn't normally have done, to reinforce and build this mezzanine level above us, which is such a key
Yeah, it's a
design
great
feature.
venue up there. If you look at Dieterle in New York, what he's been able to do, even Dufresne up in New York, the guys that are really kind of spreading out into other venues, experimenting with new menu items, new styles, all that. And then you look at 50 Eggs here in South Florida, which you guys have been successful with many restaurants. Do you see this as a trend of restaurant operators in the future to kind of start these real unique signature restaurants and building off them?
No, absolutely, I do, and I think for a lot of reasons. One is because it's a great creative outlet and you can find holes in the market where you fit, and the other reason is, once you press 2 to 3 stores, it's a very different management and infrastructure that takes to get beyond that. So you can have a local chef that can go and effectively manage 2, maybe 3 restaurants, and do different menus, varying menus, and really kind of have an outlet for themselves. But then you have larger operators that then, of course, make the leap and can build on those trends, but at the same time, they have the ability to scale something.
Do you think there's an evolution for Yardbirds, the Swines of the world, Kong, River House, to multiply, and where is that magic number? Is it 2, 4, 6 of these guys?
It's a great question, and one that we've had on a regular basis in the office, in that it is definitely over 10. the Nobus and Sushi Sabas of the world, where
Yeah.
they've kind of been able to scale in major cities, is a great model or example for us. I think, with other similar concepts, Steven Starr, Union Square Hospitality, you see some of those brands starting to branch out and kind of find their legs, so to speak. And I think, as you get to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 units, you start to figure out, okay, how far can I take this?
Right.
But I think for a concept like this, in many ways, I think this is the new face of casual dining.
Right.
Yeah. And the days of what we saw in kind of more processed, quick service version, I think we'll go back to really more from scratch cooking, but the systems and procedures to allow it to scale to 50 to 100 to maybe even 300 unit chain. And that's certainly our goal.
Yeah. When you look at building restaurant concepts like that, I mean, what are some of the critical positions in an organization that you guys have to really address? Obviously the culinary aspect, the marketing, design aspect, your social and digital presence. Do you feel like you have to put a rock star team together and then kind of refocus them on the next project? Well, how do you scale that?
Well, I guess the nature of the restaurant business is it's yes to all of those things, and it's one of the reasons I think it is such a high failure rate is it's the ultimate multitasking job.
Right, yeah.
You have to be great at social and marketing. You have to be great at culinary. You have to be great at all these things. And if one suffers, particularly on the operations of the culinary or real estate or any of those things, you will not make it to the next step. And I think, yes to the Rockstar team. You have to find a group of people that understand their areas.
This has been fun. Obviously, we've had a blast. We love coming into the 50X concepts. You guys are really knocking it out of the park here at Swine.
Appreciate it.
Amazing food. We got to go and try some of this stuff.
Yeah, let's feed you. That's our favorite part. All right.